Hey folks, this is IO Ether, and we're back bringing you some more World of Tanks. As you can tell, this is a tank company game, so we're going to show you some more tactics. This is Crazy Colonel's Tank Company. We kind of got a whole, most of it's Saint clan mates, but we do have some randoms scattered in. We have Kitty Shank behind me in the Hellcat, and Priority Aces is down there in the VK somewhere. So Crazy ordered the TDs, the two SU-100Ys, and Hellcats up into these bushes up here, and we're just supposed to contain to make sure that the high regions of this map could not be taken by the enemy. The VKs are going to wander down to the other mediums, and they're all going to push up the valley. The E8, which you will see zipping out in front of all the rest of the VKs, he is actually doing scouting. He has been nominated to die for the cause. You know. So I have no idea what I'm looking at right now. Oh, I was probably looking at all my teammates. That's what I was doing. Checking to make sure everyone else is in position. And then scanning buildings. And this, when you're scoping like that, you can see buildings being destructed and walls. And I'll tell you enemy position. So this Hellcat made a horrible life choice right there. And coming over that ridge. Now the other Hellcat is just peeking his turret over. He is trying to get shots on us without taking shots. Unfortunately, it's not going to work because we can see him. That SU-100Y made a horrible life choice in jumping over that ridge. Because of the fact that they're coming over one by one, we're able to focus fire and take targets down really fast. Now they finally kind of got the idea they should switch positions, which is a good idea. If you're poking over a ridge, try not to poke over the same place more than once. It's really likely that there's an enemy shell waiting for you if you poke over the second time. But some people just don't get that idea. So the SU-100 just died without ever being able to fire off a shot. That makes 3 of their TDs that have died without being able to shoot anything. Kitty and I were going to rush this Hellcat when we noticed the KV-1S. Now we switched targets to him. He has become our priority. Kitty put a shot into him, I put a shot into him. I'm trying to take his next shot right here and make sure he doesn't hit Kitty. As it turns out, someone else gets him. That's okay. Now our VKs have really cleaned up the valley. Because of these, the ability to spot them, which our 1E8 died to bring us, we got a whole lot of oh, wow. I did not even realize I hadn't even hit that guy. Now watch how quickly these two evaporate. Both of those tanks, I mean, this is a fast-firing heavy gun. But I didn't get time to reload before the second tank was dead. My shot didn't even have time to travel the entire distance to hit the KV-1S before it was dead. That's just how fast both of these tanks died. That's what happens when you have 9 guns aimed on one guy. He doesn't stay there very long. Now this was an overwhelming victory, but mostly it was an overwhelming victory because of the enemy's mistakes. By the looks of it, they had 2 KV-1Ss up here and the Type 58. This is a great place for the Type 58. It's a horrible place for the KV-1Ss. KV-1Ss are brawling tanks. They should have been in this village where they could have had cover from things shooting at their sides and rears, and they could have poked their gun up, shot something, and backed away and let a friend cover them while they're reloading. Also, the fact that they lost 4 TDs over here for the price of nothing was really bad. The only thing they did was they damaged an SU-100Y a little bit, and Kitty took a shot from that KV-1S as he came over the hill. That's the only thing this entire topside did. That first Hellcat was unlucky. He ran straight smack into 4 entrenched TDs. That is never a good thing. You almost always die when you do that, unless you're in a heavy tank with a lot of hit points and a lot of armor. Even then, you're not going to live through. But the other 3 knew what was over there, and they still continued to try and push, and that was their mistake. If you ever end up in this situation where you know there's 3 or 4 enemy TDs on the other side of a ridge, don't go over that ridge. Circle them. Hit them from the back. Let your already range shells on them. Put a heavy tank in front of you. Whatever. Just don't go over that ridge. Now, if you have the numbers, say if there was only 2 of us there and there was 4 of them, then they could have all charged that ridge and absolutely destroyed us. We would not have had the reload or health or armor to take on 4 enemy tanks. But because they were actually even with us, though we didn't know that KV-1S was there, if they had all come over the ridge at the same time, they actually would have done fairly significant damage. But we probably still would have won. And the reason we probably still would have won was because as they crested that hill, we would have had shots into them. That SU-100Y that came over, for example, it survived less than 2 seconds, maybe a second and a half or something, before at least 3 shots hit it, maybe 4, I wasn't counting. As soon as that happened, they had lost that position. They had lost that position as soon as the first Hellcat died, but that was even worse. At that point, they really should have just backed off and let us be there. Now, when they first lost that Hellcat, if they left that position entirely, left maybe a Hellcat up there to watch their backs, or an SU-100Y, and everything else is swept down into the valley, they could have destroyed our VKs that were in along here, with shots from above while the VKs were still down the valley. And that would have been a fairly effective way. They may not have won, but they would have done much better than this. So, as it happens, they didn't. They just kind of lemming trained over that hill and all got slaughtered. And that was their biggest mistake. So, please don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed this. It helps me out quite a bit. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and have a good night. This is IOE throughout.